power play goal at 19-14. Don't go anywhere. First to intermission coming up next.
Winning Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 times in a row? That had never been done before. Then again, neither had a 12-inch touchscreen or 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Never been done before. It's just kind of our thing.
Welcome to Flames TV Live at the Intermission. I want to shout out some of these new cutouts we have added here tonight for Canadian Armed Forces Appreciation Night, 15th annual. These cutouts actually purchased by former GM and hockey ops, Brian Burke. He purchased 50 of these cutouts. Of course, the proceeds go in support of Snowy Strong, but those are members of the Canadian Armed Forces here present tonight for Appreciation Night. Good to see their smiling faces in the building as we celebrate our servicemen and women tonight. By the way, this is the Flames TV Live at the Intermission, brought to you by Ram Truck, winner of Motor Trend Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, and nice to have some positive thoughts here coming out of that first period, and a period that the Calgary Flames end up leading 2-0. They were looking for offense. They finally get a little bit here tonight. What did you see of in the first period?
Well, they got a lot of pucks to the net, and that's been a struggle for the Calgary Flames as of late. And they seem to be a little bit more in sync tonight. Their forecheck has been better. They're forcing the issue all over the ice, and they've done a really nice job in their own zone, the Calgary Flames, tonight, of not allowing any chances around their net. They've been pretty tight and pretty stingy, and they'll have to continue.
Well, let's take a look at how they got those goals. Here, obviously, 2-0 after one, and they both come late. And you talked about shots through, and you know, maybe this first one comes in terms of a bit of a break at the side of the net, but starts with some hard work down low.
Yeah, and this is one thing that the Calgary Flames haven't been able to do lately is get to the blue paint. They haven't been able to get their sticks on pucks there, so nice to see. It's not a pretty goal, but you got to get a couple of like these to get things changed, get the momentum going your way.
Well, and then the second one, the power play, which they finally got one on the man advantage last game to obviously cut the deficit, and then the #1 unit gets one here.
Yeah, Gio pounds this puck. They finally get a shot right down the center of the ice.
Yeah.
It does hit a Winnipeg Jet, and that has been the theme here.
Yeah.
But they finally get a friendly carom, as we see on this from this angle right here. Just a little piece of the stick beats Brossois, and they got to continue to do it. They got to continue to get those pucks through to keep their offense rolling.
Well, and you were talking just about last game, and obviously you got to give Winnipeg, the opposition, some credit in terms of what they were able to do to keep shots to the outside, 22 block shots. But what about the difference here tonight, through one period at least, just about what the Flames have been able to see and generate?
Well, they've got shots, which is important because the game before, as we talked about, Winnipeg blocked absolutely everything. And it's such an offensive killer because if you don't get pucks past halfway down to the net, if you don't get pucks to the end board, well, they're not retrievable. Pucks like this dribbler here, it's turned the other direction. Shots that get stymied right in the middle of that offensive zone, well, there's just no opportunity to build off of it. And even tonight we've seen a few of those, but the Calgary Flames have done a better job so far of getting some pucks to the net. And when you do that, you keep your cycles alive. Yeah. You make it difficult for defenders, but again, we've got to give the Winnipeg Jets some credit. They've been applying themselves quite well the last couple games.
For sure, and there you see the contrast of what last game looked like and then earlier on tonight. Obviously, we'll have more with you in the second intermission coming up, but tonight, because it is Canadian Armed Forces Appreciation Night, also want to show some love to our servicemen and women. Had an opportunity to catch up with Brigadier General Fletcher, Calgary Flames fan, and obviously huge in the service as well. Enjoy. Well, tonight marks the 15th annual Canadian Armed Forces Awareness Night, and normally we would have hundreds of servicemen and women joining us in the Scotiabank Saddledome. Obviously, a little bit different this time around, but still happy to celebrate nonetheless. Pleased to welcome in Brigadier General Fletcher, who joins us, Commander 3rd Canadian Division and Joint Task Force. And you join us, with your little Flames background there too, which is outstanding. It suits the theme just perfectly. Maybe just first of all, welcome, and how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks very much. I'm really, really happy to have the opportunity here tonight. And, it might be obvious from behind me, but I'm a huge Flames fan, so it makes it doubly special for me. Yeah,
outstanding. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But, first, maybe just the idea of this awareness night here, Canadian Armed Forces Awareness Night, and just obviously this year, for so many different reasons, is different. But maybe just give me an idea of why it's special and in its own way this year.
Yeah, it's always special. It's special. First off, it's tremendous to celebrate 15 years of the cooperation and the relationship between the Canadian Armed Forces and the Flames. But this year's been a tough one for everybody, not the least of which has been the families, of our men and women in uniform, who, despite, working through the difficulties and the stress of the pandemic, have actually been stepping up for Canadians, domestically here at home and also internationally, and it's a testament to their devotion to duty and the sacrifice of them and their families that they've been able to do that during the pandemic. So it's really, really special, and it's very humbling to have the Flames organization take the time and the effort to recognize the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform and their families. I'm not kidding, sincerely appreciated, and has a bigger impact in terms of the morale than anyone could probably possibly imagine.
Well, that's so well said. And, in a normal year, when we talk about that moment on the ice, all the players come back out, win or lose, and just be able to have a conversation, just spend some time with you guys and you guys spend some time with them. I know you've had the chance to be part of, one of these nights on a regular evening when you're in attendance. What does that partnership mean to you in terms of just that being able to have that time, just to, mutual respect between the two sides and kind of coming together at the end of a game like that?
Well, I think you just said it. It's that mutual respect piece. The players are heroes, to many of our men and women in uniform. And, to be able to meet your hero, to find out how down to earth and humble and appreciative they are is a lasting memory that many of us will take with us for the rest of our lives. The not the jersey, but the T-shirt over my shoulder. Actually, I bought that at a military appreciation night at the Saddledome, and it's signed by the team that was on the ice at the time. And I got to tell you that memory is still very, very special to me, and something that I'll always treasure.
Well, maybe just as we kind of talk a little bit more about the Flames, and again, we'll get to that in just a second, but just your role, where you've got started in the Armed Forces, and just sort of how you've evolved to where you are now.
Yeah, I'm an Alberta boy, so born in St. Albert, but I was a military brat. So, I guess maybe a little bit in my DNA, never really dreamed of doing anything else. I've been in the Army, for 32 years now, and, still love getting up to work every day, and I'm inspired by our soldiers. I've had the fortune of serving across the country, been, outside of Canada, both on tours and, spent a couple of years on exchange in the States, and it's just been incredibly rewarding. It just makes coming home that much more special every time. Do we appreciate what a great country we've got, how blessed we are in Canada, how tremendous Alberta is, and how the relationship with the city of Calgary and the Calgary Flames is something that, that doesn't exist, frankly, anywhere else in the world.
You talked about it kind of right off the top. I mean, challenges are not hard to find this year or over this past year. But maybe just give me an idea of personally what you've seen as you've gone through this pandemic. Maybe that role that you could kind of expand a little bit more on, and just how important it has been over the last 12 months plus now.
Yeah, so as my current job is the commander of the 3rd Canadian Division. It's it's all Army troops from Thunder Bay out to Vancouver Island. So the western half of the country, and we respond domestically in 3 provinces: Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. So a pretty significant span of control with a whole bunch of motivated folks doing great work. Over the past year, it's been difficult. Our job fundamentally is to be ready, and it's to be ready for, both kind of the known knowns, right? Those deliberate things that are coming, some of our international appointments, but also the unknowns, if that makes any sense. It's those short notice reactions, and in this case, it was a reaction to a pandemic that, over a year ago, I would never have imagined in my wildest dreams that the Canadian military would be playing a role in. So we had to slow down. We had to be deliberate, accept that some of the things that we took for granted in terms of how we train, how we prepare ourselves, were not going to survive the test of being able to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities. So that goes against everything in our DNA, to be perfectly honest with you. We're used to getting on with business. So we slowed down. We were deliberate about it. Fundamentally, it made a big difference. I think it made a big difference in terms of soldiers understanding that they were appreciated, understanding the value of what they bring to Canadians in their time of need. That then, really, I guess, manifested itself in our ability to respond to Canadians. And we've done so on a number of occasions to help mitigate COVID outbreaks in remote northern communities, to assist with testing at border crossing sites and a number of other fronts domestically that I think if we hadn't been deliberate, about approaching what we do in a COVID pandemic environment, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish.
Well, and here we are, still, coping with it. What about the mentality right now? I mean, how is everybody, handling sort of the wear as this goes along, and what are you sensing from your men?
Yeah, I think it's, like most Canadians, I think everyone's getting really tired. This has been a long haul, but it's not over yet. So, the message that certainly we send to the soldiers is you need to keep doing what you're doing. And as much as it is probably wearing on folks, the importance of protecting yourselves, to be ready to respond and to protect Canadians and the communities, because we live in our communities, right? We are not confined to military installations. That is the overarching duty, I think, that we all own. So military folks, our job is to protect Canadians, and so we need to make those ongoing sacrifices to do what we need to do. Now, having said that, we also need to train. And so we are deliberately restarting training. We're doing some large-scale exercises. One of the reasons I'm in my basement right now is because I just came back from the United States, where we had sent some soldiers to do a marquee training event, something that was absolutely essential in terms of their readiness. And so, we recognize that we need to be prepared. And it's a constant balance, to be perfectly honest with you, between the requirement to train and the requirement to protect our folks and ensure their well-being. And it's going to keep going for the next little while. But we're professionals. Our men and women in uniform are professionals, and I have no doubt that they're going to hit the ball out of the park. It's probably bad to use a baseball analogy at a hockey interview, but when they're asked to do so.
Hey, we'll take the sports analogies, no doubt. You mentioned the shirt on one side. You got Jerome McGinley on the other. That's a signed jersey by the looks of things. So you're a Flames fan. What stands out to you when you think about memories as a Flames fan?
Oh, wow. Obviously 1989, a huge year, the visuals of raising the cup. I can tell you as a young second lieutenant, a long time ago, so 1996, I have a vivid memory of laying underneath an improvised shelter in the rain in Wainwright, Alberta, with my little radio tuned into the playoffs that year. And, so it's been part and parcel of certainly, my personal life over the course of the entirety of it. My 2 years in the States, it was hard to get hockey broadcast on many occasions. And, I won't talk to you about the number of hoops we had to jump through to be able to dial in and see the Flames in action. Was well worth the effort. It's part of the fabric of certainly who I am and the fabric of my family.
So well said. We appreciate you taking the time. Thank you to all the servicemen and women and all the work that you guys do. We really appreciate it. We also really appreciate that connection between our armed forces and the Calgary Flames.
Thank you so much. I would be remiss if I did not thank the Calgary Flames for this tremendous honor. It's very humbling. And I know that, especially in this environment, the amount of heavy lifting and the effort that it takes to put on something like this on behalf of our men and women in uniform is huge. And it means the world to each and every one of us. So my sincere appreciation, for that honor, and also for everything that the Flames do on behalf of Calgarians and Albertans each and every day, both on and off the ice.
It's been a pleasure to chat, and all the best moving forward. Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much. Take care.
We call it the Ram 1500 Limited. But truth be told, there's nothing limited about it. Ram 1500, winner, J.D. Power Award for Best Driver Appeal.